Okay, so Mike is such a badass, by the way. He's so smart, and yet he remains to be one of the most fucking badass characters in TV, like, period. What's up, you guys? This is One Classic Gamer here, and I just watched episode 3 of season 3 of Better Call Saul. I don't know the name of this episode, but since you all responded so well to my thoughts and opinions on the first 2 episodes, I figured I would continue this line of reviews for this season because, man, oh man, I fucking love this show. And, this was a pretty good episode. Now, I'm just going to say right now, since this is a review, and this is my thoughts and my opinions, there are going to be spoilers. That's how I'm choosing to do these videos. So if you have not seen these episodes, I'd recommend you go out and watch them before you watch my review, because I like to go into these episodes in detail, and because this shit that goes down in the show is actually pretty awesome. So this episode starts off like, it's actually kind of weird the way it starts out. It starts off with like very interesting like cinematography. It's like in the desert, and there's like shoes, like sneakers hanging from power lines, and you got the Los Pollos Hermanos truck driving by, and it stops at like the stop sign, and then it keeps going, and the sneakers fall, and then the title card pops up, and you're just like, what? You see that, and then it goes to Jimmy, who is, you know, I mean, I said this in the last review I did, but Jimmy is he's fucking done with Chuck. Like, he officially hates his brother now. You could just tell it. You could tell when you look at Jimmy, like, he is fucking pissed at Chuck. Chuck is like telling Jimmy, you know, I'm doing this because I want you to face the consequences and come out a new man, and like not be like slipping Jimmy, basically. And Jimmy's like, here's what's gonna happen, Chuck. You're gonna end up in another one of those hospitals because you're gonna get sick again with all those electric ER machines that hurt so much, and you're gonna die there, and I'm not gonna be there for you. And when I saw that, I was just like, fuck, Jimmy, man, you are such a savage. Like, he fucking hates his brother now, more than his brother hates him. And Chuck is even bothered by it too. You could look at you can tell by the expressions on his face in that scene that he's like, damn, like, I can't believe I brought Jimmy down to like this level. Like, he actually feels kind of sad, and, you know, like, he really hurt his brother. And, you know, later on in the episode, there's like a scene where he hires like a lawyer, and I don't think it's a lawyer. She's with the ADA, the American Disability blah 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 Association, because Chuck has a disability, the whole electromagnetic sensitivity disability thing, and he's like, you can tell in that scene that he's kind of bothered by it. He's like, maybe there's some other way we can work this out with everyone. And you could just tell that things have gone downhill with the relationship between Jimmy and Chuck, when Jimmy is just so fucking done with Chuck, to the point to where Chuck realizes it and doesn't want to hurt his brother anymore. He wants to go easy on him, and it's such a great arc between the two of them. Like, the shit they've set up between the two of them is just crazy, and I'm wondering, like, what's going to happen to Chuck at the end of this show, because he's not in Breaking Bad. So I'm trying to like wonder, like, does he actually die in a hospital bed and Jimmy's not there? Like, I'm just like, what the fuck is gonna happen with Chuck? Like, I'm just like, damn. So that happens, and Mike confronts Gus, and when I saw this, I was like, yeah. Like, he gets a call on basically in the last episode, Mike he was following the tracker, and he gets out on this road in the middle of the desert, and the person, Gus, one of his guys, or him, placed the gas cap in the middle of the road with the tracker there. He walks up and he sees his cell phone. He grabs his cell phone, he answers it, and then he's like, yeah. And then Gus is like, I assume you have a gun. And he's like, I do. He's like, I don't want to see your gun. If I don't see your gun, you don't have to see my gun either. And then he's like, do we agree on that? And he's like, yeah, we agree on that. Then you see 2 cars drive up, and we get the scene where Gus and Mike finally confront each other, and I was like, yeah! Excuse me. I don't know what the fuck that was. Which is something, we get the scene where they finally confront each other, which is like something that I've wanted to see. Like, I mean, I was actually, I remember when season 2 ended, I was one of the people, like, people were wondering, like, who left that note to Mike to tell him not to kill Hector. And people were asking me because I think I was in high school still when season 2 was airing on AMC. And I was talking to my teachers about it because none of my other friends watched Better Call Saul. They watched, like, other shows, more dumbed down shows. They didn't watch Better Call Saul. I was really one of the only people in high school that actually watched it because I love the show. It's a very smart show. And I was talking to my teachers about it. They're all like, who do you think put that note there? And I was like, Gus. Gus put it there. And I was right. And we finally get to see the 2 of them meet each other, and it was great. I like it. I mean, you could say it was generic, and, you know, there wasn't anything exciting, but this isn't an explosive TV show. This is a show, a dialogue-based show. It bothers me when I see reviews for episodes, and people are like, oh, this show is so slow. I was falling asleep watching it. This show's not that boring. It really isn't. If you can... It's an entertaining show because the dialogue is written so well. It's like the characters are smart. The shit that happens, there's actually like shit that happens, and it's such an engaging show. And I mean, there aren't a lot of other shows out there like this. I mean, I know I've said that a couple times now, like in my past couple videos, but it's true. Like, there are rarely shows like Better Call Saul out there. I mean, if I can think off the top of my head, like one other show that comes close to Better Call Saul in terms of writing and content, Game of Thrones does. Game of Thrones, maybe the first season of Mr. Robot, I kind of got lost in the second season, but really, all the other shows out there, like, I know I always talk about it and I always, like, roast it, but The Walking Dead and a lot of other shows out there can't find balance between, like, the action and the writing. And this show sacrifices, like, having, like, no explosive action and has some of the best writing in any TV show out there. And it is such a good show, and it bothers me whenever I see people complain about how boring Better Call Saul is, because it's not a fucking boring show. You're just complaining because you don't get to see walkers and explosions and pointless drama. You want that? Go fucking watch The Walking Dead. Get the fuck out of here. So I went on a little bit of a rant there, but this show is really good, and things are starting to pick up in this season. I mean, I continue with the whole thought process that this is going to be the season where the shit goes down, because it is. We're only 3 episodes in, and Jimmy is already like he's changing. Like he does not want, like I said, he's fucking done with his brother, and you can just, man, he's done. I also love like the dynamic between the chemistry between Jimmy and the other law attorney guy. I don't know what his name is, but he's been in all the seasons, and back before he joined Davis and Maine, when he was like just a regular lawyer that slept at a nail salon, he made like background deals with this guy. Like I like the scenes between the two of them in this episode. They're pretty entertaining. But yeah, the stuff with Jimmy's is just so good. He obviously wants to represent himself. He wants to fix his own problems. He doesn't want Kim to get involved. But of course, in the end, he's like, Chuck has me boxed in, so I need your help, Kim. And Kim, being the person she is, chooses to help Jimmy and help him fight this case, this bind that he is in. So that's going on, and we got the stuff with Mike. Now, Mike, he's so freaking smart. Like, he has a scene in this episode. So basically, like, going back to the beginning of the episode with like the sneakers hanging from the power lines, you're like, what the hell? Later on, like during the scene between Mike and Gus, Gus is saying, I can't let you kill Hector, but I can let you hurt him by like destroying one of his trucks. Because if you've seen Breaking Bad, Gus doesn't like Hector. He does not like him, but he doesn't want him to die right now because he wants to be the one that kills him. Because he killed his partner. So he's like, you can take out one of his shipments. I'll let you hurt him in that way. And so what Mike does is he goes to some like doctor, like sketchy doctor, and asks him for like I think it was like six. I think he said 6 grams. I don't know if I'm right or not. Of like what I assume is cocaine or some shit like that. And what he does is he puts them in the sneakers, ties the shoelaces together, throws them up onto the power line, which is pretty funny because it takes him like 3 or 4 tries to get it up there. Like it would take me way more tries than that. And he takes the sniper rifle that he was using when he was going to kill Hector, and he waits for the truck to come. But it's not the whole Los Pueblos Hermanos truck. It's the I don't remember what it was. It's another one of Hector's shipments. And what happens is the two of them step out and they go over to like a tire that's just laying in the road, and they start lifting up the tire, and Mike shoots his sniper rifle up into the air. He keeps firing it, but not at the guys, because he wants to make them think that he's just a hunter out there hunting animals. So what he does later, like he fires off like I think like 5 or 6, I wasn't really counting, but about 5 or 6 shots just to make them think that he's just a hunter, I guess, out there. And when they're driving off at the end, he shoots the shoes that are hanging on from the power line. The cocaine spills onto the truck. And later on, when those two people are taking the cargo truck to, I guess like the area like at the border where, when you're crossing the border, they have to inspect the cargo truck to make sure there's no illegal drugs or anything in it. The dogs are all sniffing around, and the dog smells picks up the scent of the cocaine in the truck, and those two people get arrested. So that's what happens with them. It's so smart. Like they could have totally had it where Mike just like decides to fucking kill those guys right then and there, but this is a smart and realistic show, and I love it. I love it so much. And so I don't know what Mike is necessarily planning, if he's gonna do anything more with those guys, but he fucking baited them hardcore, and Mike is awesome, and this was a pretty good episode. It was a little bit slower than the previous episodes. Not, a whole lot slower, but it was just still really good. My only little critique is that the ending was just sudden. It was kind of sudden. And you're like, okay, but this show is just, it's leaps and bounds better than other shows out there. So, I love this episode a lot, and I'm gonna continue watching it, of course. So, those are my thoughts on Better Call Saul Season 3, Episode 3. I don't know the title of this episode, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next review. Peace.